You're going to have sex with me. Okay? Pause. I know, that line is wild, and the craziest part. It doesn't come from some smooth-talking player in a fancy suit. It comes from a ranch. Dirt under boots, wind in your face, real work, real pressure. The kind of place where people don't talk like that unless something inside them finally breaks. So when I heard it, my first thought was, what pushed her there? Because she's not the type who throws words around. She's the type who measures everything. Time, money, feed, fences, people, especially men. And you can feel it right away. She has rules, hard rules. The kind you build after you get burned and swear it won't happen again. Like don't trust smiles. Like don't believe promises. Like don't let anyone get close enough to ruin your peace. So why would a woman like that say something so direct, so risky? That's what pulls me in. Because it's not just about attraction. It's about control. It's about power. It's about a moment where she decides she's done being careful. And then there's him. He shows up like trouble, but not the loud kind. Quiet trouble. The kind that doesn't flirt too much. The kind that watches, listens, and somehow makes you feel seen, which is way more dangerous. And I'm sitting here thinking, all right, what did this man do on her ranch that made her forget every rule she lived by? Before we even get to him, you have to understand her. Because the ranch did not make her soft. It made her sharp. She wakes up before the sun like it's normal. Not because she loves mornings. Because if she doesn't get up, things fall apart. Animals don't wait. Fences don't fix themselves. Bills don't pause because you feel tired. And the land is always hungry. Hungry for work. Hungry for attention. Hungry for someone to prove they deserve to keep it. And she does, every single day. She moves through the place like she built it with her hands. Even if she didn't. Even if she inherited it. Even if it was dropped into her lap like a heavy stone. She carries it like it's her name. People in town call her tough. Some say it like a compliment. Some say it like a warning. She hears all of it and doesn't react. That's her first rule. Never show what lands. Because on a ranch, weakness spreads fast. The same way a broken latch turns into a missing calf. The same way one unpaid bill turns into 10. The same way one wrong person gets close. And suddenly, your whole life is not yours anymore. She learned that part early, not from books, not from advice, from experience. There was a time she trusted. There was a time she believed words, and that time cost her. Maybe it was a man who charmed his way into her world. Maybe it was a partner who promised help and brought chaos. Maybe it was someone who smiled, took what he wanted, and left her with the mess. Whatever it was, it left a mark. The kind you don't see on skin, but you feel in how someone stands, how they look at you, how they keep the door locked even in the daytime. Now she has rules, not cute rules, not no texting back fast rules, real rules. Rule 1, men say what works, not what's true. She's watched it 100 times. A man shows up with that easy confidence, that I got you voice, that little laugh like life is simple, and for a second you want to believe it. Because believing feels good, but she has trained herself not to want it. Want is the start of being fooled. So when someone says, I'll handle it, she hears, I'll handle it until it's inconvenient. Rule 2. Men hate being second to a woman. They can pretend they don't. They can compliment you. They can call you impressive. But the moment you don't need them, something in them changes. They get quieter, meaner. Or they start making small jokes that aren't jokes. They try to shrink you without touching you. They try to make you doubt your own judgment. They try to make the room theirs again. She has seen that too. She runs meetings with suppliers and workers. She knows the look men give when they realize she's in charge. Some accept it. Some don't. The ones who don't usually become problems later. And she doesn't have time for problems. She has livestock. She has land taxes. She has broken equipment. She has weather that changes its mind every hour. Rule 3. Men leave when things get hard. This one is not even personal. It's just math. When the ranch is doing well, everybody wants to be around. They want to talk. They want to take pictures. They want to feel like the ranch energy will rub off on them. But when the work gets ugly, when the mud gets deep, when the money gets tight, when the heat hits like a punishment, Suddenly they have plans. Suddenly they have other commitments. She stays, because she has to, and it's not just the ranch. It's her life, it's her heart. She stays in her own body even when she's exhausted, even when she's lonely, even when she eats dinner standing up because sitting down feels like wasting time. That's another thing about her. She doesn't sit still. Stillness gives her room to think, and thinking gives her room to feel, and feeling is dangerous. So she keeps moving, and the ranch becomes more than a job, it becomes an excuse, a shield, a wall. People think she's cold, she's not cold, she's careful. A friend once tried to set her up. A simple dinner. Just meet him, they said. He's nice. She went. She smiled. She made conversation. She did everything right. And the whole time she was watching him like a storm cloud, watching for the moment the mask slips. At the end of the night, he leaned in like he'd earned it. Like her laugh was permission, like her politeness was a promise. And she pulled back. Not rude, just firm. The look on his face changed. Not anger right away, something thinner, like insult covered in a smile. And in that moment she felt it again. That old lesson, that rule. Nice is often just patient. So she stopped going out, stopped entertaining chances, because chances cost too much. Instead, she puts her energy into things that don't lie. Lumber, wire, steel, rain, feed, numbers. Animals are honest. They want what they want. They don't pretend. Even her workers, the ones who have been there for years, know her ways. They know she doesn't like excuses. They know she doesn't like drama. They know she'll pay fair, but she expects the work done. Some of them respect her for it. Some of them keep their distance. She is fine with both. But even with all that strength, the ranch doesn't care about pride. The ranch cares about reality. And reality has been getting worse lately. A machine that should have lasted another year starts coughing smoke. A fence line keeps going down like someone is testing her boundaries. The feed supplier raises prices again. The vet bill is bigger than expected. The weather doesn't cooperate. And on top of that, someone from an office far away sends a letter with too many words and not enough mercy. The kind of letter that means if she doesn't fix something fast, she could lose a piece of the land. She reads it twice. Her jaw tightens. Her hand stays steady, but her chest feels tight like it's holding a secret. This is the part no one sees. They see the strong rancher, the woman who doesn't flinch. They don't see her doing the math at midnight. They don't see her staring at the ceiling, counting costs like sheep. They don't see the quiet fear that she might not be able to outwork this. Because some problems don't care how hard you work. Some problems need help. And help is the one thing she hates asking for. She tries to handle it alone anyway. Of course she does. She calls who she can call. She schedules repairs. She pushes her crew harder. She takes on more tasks herself. Her hands get rougher. Her patience gets thinner. Her sleep gets shorter. She starts snapping at small things. A gate left open. A tool not put back. A late delivery. It's not really about those things. It's about the growing feeling that everything is slipping little by little, and if she admits it out loud, it becomes real. Then something happens that forces her to stop pretending. Maybe it's a storm that wrecks part of the property overnight. Maybe it's an injury that makes her realize she's not invincible. Maybe it's a key worker quitting at the worst time. Maybe it's a call from the bank that lands like a punch. Whatever it is, it leaves her standing in the middle of her ranch, staring at a problem that is too big for one person. And that is when her pride and her fear meet, because someone offers a solution, not a perfect one, not a safe one, but a solution. A man is recommended, a ranch hand, a fixer, someone who's good with tough jobs, someone who keeps his head down, someone who doesn't cause problems. She hears those words and feels nothing but suspicion. Men always cause problems, that's her belief. That's her history talking. That's the rule book she wrote in pain. So she says no at first. Then she looks at the broken fence line again. She looks at the bills. She looks at the letter. She looks at the sky like it might answer her. And she realizes she can keep being proud or she can keep the ranch alive. So she makes the call. She tells herself it's business, just business, temporary, strict boundaries. No personal talk. No charm, no closeness. He comes, he works, he leaves, simple. That's what she thinks. And the moment she agrees, it's like the ranch holds its breath. Because the next time a truck pulls up down that long dirt drive, it won't just bring help. It will bring the one kind of trouble she never planned for. The truck shows up when she's already in a mood. Not a bad day mood. A don't test me mood. Her shirt is dusty. Her hair is tied back like she did it in a hurry. There's a smear of dirt on her forearm that she hasn't even noticed. She's halfway through fixing one problem when she hears the tires crunching on gravel, slow and steady, like whoever is driving doesn't need to announce himself. She straightens up slowly, not rushed, not excited, just ready, because in her mind this man is a tool, a temporary solution, a set of hands, nothing more. Then the truck stops and the door opens. And the first thing that hits me as the viewer is, he doesn't move like a guy trying to impress. No loud greeting, no big smile, no "where's the boss" joke. He steps down, closes the door, and stands there for a second like he's reading the place. The land, the fences, the barn, the cattle. And then finally he looks at her. Not at her body, at her. Like he's actually checking who's in charge before he opens his mouth. That alone would mess with her. Because most men either try to dominate the space or they try to charm it. He does neither. He walks closer, slow enough to show respect, but not slow like he's scared. And when he speaks, his voice is calm, normal, like he's not performing. "You're the rancher." She doesn't like the question. Not because it's rude. Because it's real. It forces the moment. She gives him the look, the test look. The one that usually makes men get defensive or try to laugh it off. "Yeah," she says, "and you're late." He doesn't argue. He doesn't start listing reasons. He just nods once. "Traffic from a rollover on the highway. I can leave if that's a deal breaker." Oh, did you catch that? That's not what most people say. Most people say, "It wasn't my fault." Or, "You're overreacting." Or they act like you should be grateful they showed up at all. He offers control back to her. And I can almost hear her brain getting irritated by it because she was ready for a fight. She was ready to confirm her rules. She was ready to put him in his place. But he's not giving her the usual buttons to push. She narrows her eyes. "You can stay, but I don't need attitude." He looks at her for a beat like he's deciding if she's serious or just stressed. Then he says something even stranger. "I'm not here to give you attitude, I'm here to work." Simple sentence. Clean, no ego, and now I'm hooked because, what is he? So she walks him toward the problem. She doesn't introduce herself properly, doesn't offer water, doesn't do hospitality. She keeps it cold on purpose, because warmth invites mistakes. As they pass the broken fence line, she points. "That section keeps dropping, I fix it." It goes down again. Either someone's messing with it or the posts are rotten. He crouches. Checks the wire, touches the wood, looks at the ground, no show, just focus. Then he asks, "When did you last replace the corner post?" She crosses her arms. "It doesn't need replacing. It just needs to stay up." He glances up, and there's something in his face that's almost like amusement but not mocking. Corner post is load-bearing. If it's soft, you can tighten the wire all day. It'll keep failing. She hates that he's right even before she knows he's right. That's another thing. He doesn't talk down. He doesn't say, "Sweetheart, listen." He doesn't try to make her feel small. He just gives information like it's neutral. She throws another test at him. "We'll see. You sure you can handle this work?" Now this is where most guys puff up. They show off. They become loud. They start trying to prove something. He just stands, wipes his hands on his jeans, looks at the fence again. "I can handle it, but I'll need access to your tool shed, and I'll need to know what you've already tried." No flirting, no bragging, no challenge. He's behaving like a professional, and that alone breaks rule number 2 in her head. Men can't handle being managed by a woman, but he's letting her manage him without a fight. It's almost unsettling. So she tries a different angle. She goes sharper. "What's your name?" he tells her, not in a proud way, not in a remember it way, just his name. And then he does something that catches me off guard as the viewer. He asks hers, not ma'am, not miss, her name. And when she says it, he repeats it once like he's storing it properly. That tiny detail does something. It makes it real. It makes it personal in a way she didn't agree to, so she pushes back. "This is temporary," she says. "I'm not looking for conversation. I'm not looking for opinions about how I run things. You come here, you fix what I tell you to fix, you leave." She expects resistance. Instead he says, "That works for me." Then he pauses. "But if something is unsafe, I'll tell you." Oof. That line has a backbone. It's not rude. It's not aggressive. It's a boundary. And she freezes for half a second because she's not used to men setting calm boundaries. She's used to ego boundaries, threats, games, or silence. This is different. Now the day moves forward. He starts working. He doesn't ask for help. He doesn't pretend he doesn't need instructions either. It's like he knows exactly what he's doing, but he's not trying to make it a performance. And the whole time she watches him. She watches for the moment he slips, the moment he gets lazy, the moment he starts flirting, the moment he tries to take control. But it doesn't happen. He measures. He digs. He replaces the post like it's nothing. He tightens the wire with careful hands. He checks the strain. He checks again. He moves like he respects the job. And then something else happens. A worker from her crew walks over, sees him, and makes a comment. The kind of comment men make when they assume they're the main audience. Something like, "Didn't know you hired company." She expects him to laugh, to join in, to make it a joke at her expense. Instead he looks at the guy and says, "She hired help, not company." Not loud, not angry, just firm. It's a small thing, but it changes the air. Because he didn't perform for the male crowd. He didn't try to bond over her. He didn't treat her like a prize or a joke. He protected her authority in front of others. That is rule-breaking behavior, and she feels it. You can tell even if she doesn't admit it. Her posture shifts slightly, like she didn't know she was bracing until the pressure eased. Now she's confused. And confusion makes her mean sometimes because it feels like losing control. So later when he comes to her with a question about materials, she snaps. "Figure it out," she says. "That's what I'm paying you for." He doesn't snap back. He looks at her calm and says, "I will, but choosing wrong wastes your money. I thought you wanted this fixed right." Silence. That is not a man trying to win a fight. That is a man refusing to play one. And I'm sitting here like, okay, she's used to having to fight all the time. She's used to men forcing her into roles. Either she's the nice one or the bitchy one. Either she's charming or she's cold. There's never room for her to just be a human under stress. But he's making room, and she hates it. Because if she relaxes, she might feel something, so she goes even colder. "Just do the job," he nods. "That's the plan." Then he turns back to the work like her mood isn't the center of his world. And that is dangerous too. Because men who need your approval are easier to control. Men who don't can make you look at yourself. As the sun drops a little, she checks the fence line again. It's strong. It holds. It looks clean, like it should have been from the start. And for the first time in a long time, she feels something that almost looks like relief. Almost. Then she catches herself feeling it and her face hardens again like she's slamming a door. But I saw it. And I know what this story is about now. It's not just that he's good at fixing fences. It's that he's quietly fixing the one thing she's been protecting the most. Her control. The next morning she tells herself she's calm. She's not. She's just good at hiding it. Because when she steps outside and sees the fence line still holding, something in her chest loosens for 1 second. Not happiness. Not joy. Just that quiet relief you feel when you realize one more thing didn't fall apart overnight. And then she remembers he did that. He's already out there again. Early. Like he didn't come to help. Like he came to work for real. No audience. No waiting for her approval. He's checking the posts like the ranch belongs to him too, but without acting like it does. That's the problem. He looks like he fits. And she doesn't like new things that fit too easily. So she keeps it business. Short talk, quick instructions, a list of tasks like a shield, gate hinge, water line, south pasture latch. He nods, no complaints. Got it. Then he does something small that starts to mess with her rhythm. He asks one clean question. Which one is the priority today? Not, why didn't you fix this already? Not, you know that's going to take time, right? Just a normal question that assumes she has a plan. She points. Water line. Okay, he starts walking then stops. You coming? That one word hits different, not help me, not follow me, just coming, like it's natural to work together. She almost says no, on reflex. But she follows anyway because she wants to stay in control of the job. That's what she tells herself. They walk side by side through the dust and dry grass. And the silence is not awkward. It's just quiet. It's the kind of quiet that makes room for thoughts she's been avoiding. She hates that, so she tries to fill it with facts. The line freezes in winter, cracks, I patched it twice. It's a pain. He listens. Actually listens. Not waiting to jump in. Not turning it into a story about himself. When they reach the water line, he kneels and starts checking the connection points. He moves like patience is normal, like frustration isn't the default. After a minute he says, patch is holding but the pressure is wrong. You've got a leak further down. She frowns. How do you know that? He taps the pipe lightly. Feel the vibration. It's uneven. She stares because how does he notice things like that? Most men she's dealt with are either loud or lazy, either talking too much or doing too little. He's neither. He's quiet but not distant, focused but not cold. He stands and says, I'll walk the line and find it. She says, we don't have time for a long search. He looks at her calm again. Then we'll move fast. No drama, no ego, just solution. They walk the line together. And this is where the slow burn starts without anyone admitting it. Because when you walk next to someone in silence, you start noticing strange things. Like how he doesn't crowd her space. Like how he doesn't stare when she bends down to check the pipe. Like how he doesn't throw random compliments just to see her reaction. Like how he matches her pace without making it obvious. It feels respectful, steady. And that steadiness makes her nervous because she doesn't know how to fight it, so she tests him again. Where'd you learn all this? She asks, like the answer might expose him. He shrugs. Work and mistakes. That's it. No big story. No fake charm. She tries again. So you do this for fun? He glances at her. No. There's a tiny pause, then he adds, but I don't hate it. Why does that sound honest? They keep walking. Then he stops suddenly and points. There, a wet patch in the dirt, a small sink, barely visible if you don't know what you're looking for. She squints. I walked past that yesterday. He doesn't say you missed it. He just says happens. And for some reason, that makes her feel less stupid and more human. He digs, he finds the crack. He works quickly, hands moving like they already know what to do. While he works, her phone buzzes. She checks it and her face tightens. More problems, always more. He notices without staring. You good? He asks. She almost snaps. Yeah. Then she catches herself because he didn't demand details. He didn't push. He asked like a person, not like a supervisor, not like a nosy stranger. So she tries the truth, just a piece of it, just money stuff. He nods once. Yeah, that's all he says. No judgment, no advice, no you should do this. No rescue fantasy, just acknowledgement. And that's when I, as the viewer, start realizing what he's really doing. He's giving her something she hasn't had in a long time. Space. Space to be stressed without being criticized. Space to be strong without being challenged. Space to be tired without being called weak. That kind of space is addictive. Later, back near the barn, one of her workers asks him something. The worker talks over her like she's not there, as if the man must be the decision maker now. She can feel the usual anger rising. But before she can speak, he turns his head slightly and says, ask her. It's her call. Not loud, not dramatic, just a simple redirect. The worker looks awkward. He turns to her. And she feels this weird mix of satisfaction and discomfort. Satisfaction because her authority stayed intact. Discomfort because a part of her liked how easily he protected it. That's a dangerous feeling. Liking support. Because liking support means wanting more. So she starts pulling away. She starts giving shorter instructions again. She avoids eye contact. She keeps conversations clipped. She becomes all rules and no softness. But he doesn't chase her. He doesn't punish her either, he just keeps working. And that's another rule-breaking thing. Most men, when they don't get the attention they want, they change. They get colder, more sarcastic. They start doing things half-hearted. They make you pay for not feeding their ego. He doesn't. He's consistent. And consistency is what makes her slip. It happens in little moments. Like when she realizes she hasn't eaten all day, and he quietly puts a bottle of water on the fence post near her without saying anything. Like when she loses her temper at a stuck latch, and he doesn't smirk. He just steps in, fixes it, and hands her the tool back like nothing happened. Like when she catches her shirt on a nail and curses under her breath, and he says, "Careful," in a tone that sounds like concern, not teasing. Each moment is small, but they stack. And the more they stack, the more her rules start to look less like wisdom and more like armor. One evening, they're both standing near the corral. The sky is turning orange. The air smells like dust and hay and animals. He wipes sweat off his forehead and finally speaks again, not about the job. "You sleep," she gives him a hard look. "What?" He doesn't flinch. "You sleep. Like actual sleep." She wants to say none of your business, but for some reason her mouth says not much. He nods like he expected that. "Yeah, I figured." "Figured what?" she snaps. He leans against the fence, relaxed. "The way you talk, like you're always bracing for the next thing." That lands too close. She stiffens because this is exactly what she doesn't want. Someone seeing under the armor, so she tries to push him away with a rule. "I'm fine," she says. He doesn't argue, he just looks out at the land and says, "Fine is expensive." That line is too real. You can almost see her swallow. You can almost see her decide whether to open up or shut down harder. And here's the thing. She doesn't open up fully, but she also doesn't walk away. She stays there beside him in the quiet, letting the air fill the space between them. And in that quiet, you can feel the shift. Not romance like fireworks. Romance like a crack forming in a wall. A wall that has been holding her up for years. Because the truth is, she doesn't just want the ranch to survive. She wants her to survive. And this man, with his calm boundaries and steady hands, is starting to feel like the first person who might not take survival from her, but help her keep it. And she hates how much she wants to believe that. The day everything tips over starts like a normal day, which is always how it starts. She's already moving before her brain is fully awake. Boots on, hair tied, same routine, same tight control. She tells herself it's working. The fence is holding. The water line is fixed. The ranch is breathing again. And then the ranch reminds her it's never done asking for more. It hits in a chain, one thing after another. Like the land is testing how many punches she can take before she drops. A gate is found open that shouldn't be open. A section of the herd is spooked and restless. Then a call comes in that makes her stomach turn cold. The kind of call you don't get unless something has gone really wrong. Money, paperwork, a deadline, a threat dressed up in polite words. She holds the phone away from her ear for a second, staring at nothing, like if she looks hard enough the problem will disappear. But it doesn't. When she ends the call, she stands there a beat too long, not moving, not speaking. And he notices immediately, not in a nosy way, in a something's off way. "You okay?" he asks again, voice low so no one else hears. She wants to say yes. She wants to say it the way she always says it, fast, sharp, final. But her mouth doesn't cooperate this time. "Not really," she says, 2 words. That's all, and you can see it on her face like she regrets saying them the second they're out. He doesn't smile. Doesn't act like he won something, he just nods once. "What happened?" she hesitates. Her instinct is to protect the ranch by protecting the story. Because if people think you're struggling, they circle, they whisper, they wait. This is a small world, a hungry world, but the weight in her chest is too heavy now. "They're pushing the deadline up," she says. "If I don't get this handled, I lose part of the land, and that's not even the worst part." He stays quiet, letting her words land. She adds, "If I lose that part, the water access gets complicated. The grazing plan gets wrecked. Everything changes." He looks out toward the pasture, doing the math in his head without asking for numbers. Then he says, "Okay, we'll handle it." She snaps back out of habit. "We," he meets her eyes. "Yeah, we." And that single word makes her throat tighten, because nobody says we to her, not like that. People say you, people say good luck, people say that's rough. Then they leave, but he says we like it's obvious. That's when the next problem arrives. A shout from one of the workers, fast footsteps. The sound of panic that doesn't belong on a normal morning. She turns and sees it instantly. Something is wrong near the corral. An animal down, or stuck, or injured. A situation that can get dangerous fast if everyone runs in loud and scared. Her body moves before her mind finishes thinking. She runs toward it, heart hammering, jaw set, already planning what to do. But the moment she gets close, she realizes it's worse than it looked from far away. Not just a simple issue, something messy. Something that needs calm hands and quick decisions. And the crew is buzzing, too many voices, too much movement. This is where she usually takes control with force, with volume, with that sharp command voice that makes people obey. But today, her brain is split in two. Half of her is seeing the animal. Half of her is hearing that phone call again. Half of her is counting money she doesn't have. Half of her is thinking, if I fail today, the ranch dies. It's too much. For the first time, she hesitates. And in that half second, he steps in, not to replace her, not to take over, to stabilize. He places himself where he needs to be. He speaks to the crew in short, clear instructions. Not barking, not begging, just calm, back up, give space, hold that gate. Easy. Slow, it slices through the panic like a knife through rope. She watches him do it and something in her chest flips, because he's not acting like a hero. He's acting like a partner. He looks at her, quick and steady. You want me on this side? That question matters. He's asking for her call. She swallows hard. Yes, and watch the leg. Got it. They move together and it's the strangest feeling. Like two people who have done this 100 times even if they haven't. Like his calm is feeding her calm. The situation gets handled. It's not pretty. It's work. It's responsibility. It's the kind of moment that reminds you life is real. When it's over and the animal is safe, the crew starts drifting away, talking in low voices, the adrenaline fading. She remains standing there, breathing hard, hands shaking just slightly. She hides it by wiping dirt off her palms. He steps closer, not too close. You did good, he says. She laughs once, but it comes out wrong. I almost didn't. He studies her face, and I swear, as the viewer, this is the first time he looks like he's holding back his own emotion. Yeah, he says. I saw. That lands like a hand on a bruise. She turns away, staring at the ground, because if she looks at him too long, something will spill. I can't lose this place, she says, voice low. I can't. He doesn't say, you won't. He doesn't promise things he can't control. He just says, then don't carry it alone. And there it is, the line that cracks her, because she's been alone for so long that alone feels like her identity. Like if she lets someone step in, she disappears. Her shoulders tense. People always say that, then they leave. He answers without missing a beat. I'm still here. It's simple, but it hits hard. She turns back to him and her eyes are sharper now, almost angry, like she needs to challenge his confidence. Why, she asks. Why are you still here? He pauses. Not the kind of pause that feels fake. The kind that means he's choosing honesty over comfort. Because I don't like seeing you fight everything like it's trying to kill you, he says. And because you're not the only one who's had to rebuild. Her throat tightens again. There's a silence between them that feels heavy and electric at the same time. The ranch noises fade into the background. Even the wind feels quieter. She should walk away, she should go back to her rules, back to control, back to cold safety, but her body doesn't move. Instead, she steps closer, just one step, then another. And it's not smooth, it's not movie perfect. It feels like a decision that costs something. He doesn't rush. He doesn't grab. He doesn't act like he expected this. He just watches her like he's letting her lead. She breathes in like she's trying to steady herself, but her voice comes out raw. You're going to have sex with me. There, she said it. And even she looks shocked by her own words, like she can't believe she played that card out loud. He doesn't smirk. He doesn't tease her. He doesn't turn it into a joke. His expression shifts into something deeper, more serious. Like he understands what that sentence really is. Not just desire. A surrender. A risk. A way of saying, I don't know how to ask for comfort, so I'm asking like this. He steps closer, slow, giving her every chance to take it back. Are you sure? He asks softly. She swallows, eyes steady, even if her hands are not. Don't make me repeat myself. A beat of silence. And then he lifts a hand, not touching her yet, almost asking permission with the space between them. When she doesn't flinch, when she doesn't step back, he closes the distance. And right there, right before anything goes further, the story cuts away from details. Because what matters isn't what happens next. What matters is that for the first time in years, she lets someone close without bargaining, without pretending, without armor. And somewhere in the back of her mind, even as everything inside her is burning and shaking and alive, there's one terrified thought that won't leave her alone. If he gets this close, he can hurt her the most. The next morning, she wakes up like her body is calm and her mind is on fire. It's the weirdest split. Her muscles feel softer, like they finally unclenched. Like they got a break from being on guard all the time. But the moment she opens her eyes, the panic rushes in, fast and hot. What did I do? Not because she regrets wanting him, because now something is real. And real things can be taken away. She sits up too quickly. The room feels too quiet, too normal, like the ranch didn't just shift its whole balance overnight. Then she hears movement, not far, not loud, just present. He's there. And that alone makes her heart do something stupid. She stands, pulls herself together, and walks out like she's stepping back into armor. She plans to go cold. Business. Clean distance. If she acts like it didn't matter, maybe it won't matter. He's by the counter making coffee like he belongs in the calm part of her life. He turns when he hears her and says her name. Just her name. No grin. No smugness. No morning after jokes. Her brain waits for the change, the shift she expects from men. The moment he becomes casual or careless or entitled, it doesn't come. Morning, he says. She nods like she's busy. You're up early. He pours a cup and sets it down, not pushing it into her hands, just leaving it there like an option. Always, he says. You sleep at all. There it is again. That question, sleep. Like he's worried about the part of her that hurts. She doesn't answer. She takes the cup, sips, and pretends the heat is the only thing she feels. The silence stretches. She can't handle it. Silence makes her honest. So she goes for control. That was a mistake, she says suddenly. The words even surprise her. They come out sharp, like she's throwing a knife to see if it sticks. He doesn't flinch. He doesn't argue. He just looks at her carefully, like he's listening for what she actually means. Was it? He asks. She tightens her grip on the cup. Yes. Okay, he says. That one word makes her blink. No fight, no persuasion, no ego injury. He just accepts her line like it's hers to draw. And that frustrates her more than any argument would have. Because if he gets angry, she can label him. She can put him in the men category she understands. If he pushes, she can push back. That's simple, that's familiar, but he's not giving her familiar. He steps back slightly, giving her space. Tell me what you need. Her stomach twists. I need you to not act like. She stops. Like what? Like it meant something. Like it didn't. Like he owns her. Like she owes him. She doesn't even know which fear is louder. He waits. Calm. Patient. That steady patience again, like a hand held out in the dark. So she tries the truth, but it comes out messy. I don't do this, she says. I don't let people in, and when I do, it turns into a problem. He nods slowly. Yeah. That yeah isn't a dismissal, it's agreement. Like he believes her story. Then he says, I'm not going to make you regret it. And that line hits her in a place she doesn't like being touched. She walks past him, heading toward the door like movement will save her. Outside, the ranch air is cold and clean. She should feel normal out here. The ranch is her safe place, her rules, her control. But now even the ranch feels different because she can't stop hearing yesterday's words in her head. Her own bold voice. The way she stepped forward instead of back. The way she let herself want. She hates that she wanted. She hates that she still wants. She heads toward the main yard where the crew is starting up. Trucks, tools, morning routines. People who expect her to be the unbreakable boss. She can do that part. But then she sees a familiar car at the edge of the property and her stomach drops. Not him. Someone else. Someone official. The kind of person who doesn't show up unless there's paperwork behind it. The kind of person who smiles with their mouth but not their eyes. She walks over, jaw clenched, already bracing. The person introduces themselves with that fake polished tone and pulls out documents, talks about boundaries, deadlines, easements, payments, inspections, words that feel like traps. She keeps her face blank, but inside she's spiraling, because this is the monster in daylight. This is the thing that can't be kicked out with a strong voice. She's signing what she can, asking questions, keeping her posture tall. But one sentence lands like a hammer. If you can't comply by the date, we proceed. Proceed. Such a clean word for such a brutal outcome. She nods like she's fine. She sends them away. She turns back toward the ranch and feels her breath shorten. And that's when she realizes her hands are shaking again. She tries to hide them in her pockets. She tries to walk it off. But he is already there, a few steps away, watching her face like he can read her weather. "They came?" he asks. She forces a laugh. "No, they just stopped by for fun." He doesn't react to the sarcasm. He just says, "What did they say?" She starts to answer, then stops. Because if she says it out loud, it becomes heavier. He waits anyway, so she tells him, not all of it, enough. He listens without interrupting. Then he says, "Show me the papers." She hesitates. "Why?" "Because you're not the only one who can think," he says, still calm, still not trying to win. She wants to refuse. She wants to protect the ranch from being seen. She wants to protect herself from being helped. But then she remembers yesterday. How his calm saved her in the middle of chaos. How he didn't take over. He just steadied. So she hands him the documents. He reads them slowly. His face stays neutral, but his eyes sharpen. Not angry, focused. "This part," he says, pointing. "They're using this clause." She leans in without thinking. Their shoulders almost touch. He continues, "If you meet the minimum requirements here, they can't accelerate the rest." She stares. "How do you know that?" He shrugs. "I've dealt with this kind of thing." That answer is too vague. And it tugs on a thread she hasn't pulled yet. "What do you mean, you've dealt with it?" she asks. He looks at her for a second. And this is different from all the other pauses. This pause has weight, like a door creaking open. "I didn't come here only because someone recommended me," he says. "I came because I know this land. And because I've had skin in this kind of fight before." Her heart thumps. That's a confession, but also not one. She narrows her eyes. "So what aren't you telling me?" He doesn't get defensive. He doesn't lie fast. He just says, "Not today, not while you're already under pressure." That's maddeningly considerate. She should hate it. But the truth is, a part of her trusts it. Still, she can't let that sit. Her control is slipping. She needs to pull it back. "So you're going to help me with the paperwork now too?" she asks, half mocking, half desperate. He meets her gaze. "I'm going to help you with whatever keeps you standing." Her throat tightens again. She looks away because if she looks at him too long, her face will betray her. Then she says the first thing that sounds like her old self. "This doesn't make us anything." He nods. "Okay, no fight, again." She turns, annoyed despite herself. "Why are you so calm?" He breathes out like he's been holding something back for a while. "Because you're looking for the exit," he says quietly. "And I'm trying to show you there's another option." She swallows. "And what option is that?" He steps closer, still giving her space, but closing the gap just enough that she feels his steadiness in the air between them. "The option where you stop treating support like a trap," he says. "Where you stop punishing yourself for wanting something good." Her chest aches. The ranch noise continues around them. Tools clink. Engines start. People laugh at something in the distance. Life keeps moving like nothing changed. But everything changed for her. Because now she's standing in the middle of her world with a man who didn't turn cold, didn't turn cruel, didn't demand ownership. didn't act like she owes him. And that makes her most dangerous fear rise up again, sharper than before. If he stays like this, she might actually let him stay. And if she lets him stay, sooner or later, she's going to have to ask the one question she's been avoiding since the moment he arrived. What is he really doing here?